Hey there, welcome back. My name is Dr. Sarah Andreas, and today we're going to discuss 7 phrases that you need to remove from your vocabulary or minimize the uses of them. All right, phrase number 1 is I'll try. I'll try is actually kind of a cop-out phrase, and basically it means that you're not going to try all that hard. Because if you were going to do it, you would just say, sure, I'll take care of that for you. So instead of using I'll try, either tell the person, yes, I'll do that for you, or no, I cannot do that right now. Be decisive. All right, phrase number 2, I don't have time or I'm so busy. That is also an excuse or a cop-out line. The truth is if you don't have time, it's just not a priority. And if it's not a priority, that's okay. But just tell the person, hey, it is not a priority right now for me to do that, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. There was a study done, I don't know how many years ago, but it was about work and how much work you could get done in a day. And what they discovered is that the same task, so let's say it was stuffing envelopes, that if you gave a person an hour to stuff all the envelopes, it would take them an hour to stuff all the envelopes. But if you gave them 5 hours to stuff the same amount of envelopes, it would take them 5 hours to stuff the same amount of envelopes. So I don't have time or I'm so busy actually are excuses for us to let ourselves off the hook. So if there's something that you really want to accomplish, don't say I don't have time or I'm busy. Make it a priority and get it done. All right, number 3, I can't. I can't is an excuse for yourself to let yourself off the hook. So the reality is if there's something you want to do, I can or I'll figure it out are much better phrases for you to use. I can't simply lets you off the hook too easy, so try instead. All right, number 4, it has to be perfect. There are some of you who have something that needs to come out into the world and you're waiting for it to be perfect. And there's two problems with that. First, because of your personality, it's never going to be perfect enough for you to release. And so you need to just say, you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to be done. And get it done and put it out there in the world because somebody needs it. And the second thing is, and this is very interesting, I've been paying attention to this lately in my life, is that if you don't put it out into the world, somebody else will. And it's like, depending on how you believe, if you believe in God or if you believe in the universe or a greater power, that they said, hey, you were called to do this and you didn't. So somebody else is getting that same calling and they're going to do it. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Put it out there. Done is much better than perfect because there's somebody who needs it. All right, number 5, I would suggest, I would say, or can I ask a question? Anytime that you preference something with that, it immediately diminishes the credibility of the statement that you're going to make. It takes power away from it. So what you really need to say instead is, hey, here's this great idea I have, or hey, this is how I think we should do it, instead of I would suggest or can I make a suggestion. All right, number 6, I'm sorry. Unless you actually have done something that deserves an apology, do not say I'm sorry. I know a lot of times, and I think it's especially in younger people, there's a tendency to say you're sorry because you don't want to offend the other person or you don't want to make the other person feel bad. Even if it's their fault, you'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. If it's not your fault and it's not something you should be apologizing for, simply state what you want to state and move on. All right, number 7, I don't care. And I think there's times when it's okay not to care, but here's the trap. It doesn't give you power. Now, there's nothing wrong with not having a preference all the time. However, you can get in the trap of never having a preference, and that makes you indecisive and not as interesting. So even if you don't care, especially the rest of this week, if there's only one thing that you remember about this video, I want you to have a preference. I want you to say, if somebody asks you where do you want to go to dinner, and your normal response is I don't care, I want you to say, I would like to have Mexican or Chinese, or what would you prefer? have a preference. It's important. And the more you actually use that preference muscle, the better off you're going to be, because then you're going to be more decisive about other things in your life, and it can lead to a lot of very interesting situations and opportunities. All right, embrace your journey, and I will see you next week.